3 seconds. And Kendrick Nunn, Rui Hachimura,
Rui!
That's the Wizards forward.
You got to see on Twitch, man. Dennis Schroeder finds out in real time. He's like, what? What just happened? I got to call my agent. What's going on?
So the deal includes, Jay, a 2023 second-round pick via Chicago that the Lakers own in 2029.
Mm-hmm.
And the less favorable of the Wizards and Lakers 2028 second-round picks. Knowing the details, do you think this is a good move for the Lakers?
Yeah. I think you can buy low for high upside. It first off lets me know that the Wizards are probably about to pay Kyle Kuzma the bag, right? He's going to be a free agent. So he's going to get over $100 million for his next deal. And that Rui is a guy who is talented but was coming off the bench in a logjam situation. A guy that's been really good at catch and shoot threes since the second year of his career, now in year 4. And I think he adds length. I think he's a guy that can play alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis when AD gets back and is healthy. It still doesn't help them with their depth, but I think it's an additional piece. And I think, frankly, with this additional piece, that should be enough to contend for the play-in position or a playoff spot.
No, it
doesn't get you
right.
Does not make you
it's not
a championship contender.
It's not a championship.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's not a get over the hump type situation. There are not guys out there that's available that can get you over the hump unless you just, I don't know, you deplete your picks, you deplete your roster, and that Lakers aren't right. They're not there. But I think when you look at 28, 29, it's so far down the line. They're trying to improve over the next 24 months because LeBron James isn't getting any younger. So this is all trying to set it up for them to be competitive into such due time that people can come off the books in 2024, Jay.
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
think that is the way they're thinking.
Yeah, well, Russ comes off the books this offseason.
Right? Well, 2024 is what I mean.
Yeah, 23, 24. So Russ comes off the book this offseason, and then all of a sudden now you have cap space to operate with the length of a guy like Rui, with LeBron James, who will be,
Here's the question, Jay, because I always think about at least let's start with the starters, okay, before we get to the
And by
bench.
the way, you still have your 2 first-round picks.
Like, one of the reasons I liked, and Danny Green was a little long in the tooth, but I used to look at a guy like Danny Green and think, the thing about Danny Green is that's 20% of a championship starting 5, caliber starting 5. He can defend, he can do things, he can shoot the 3, all that kind of stuff. So you kind of lock it down, and it could be low cost or not too high a cost. When I look at Hachimura, I think if you're playing him next to LeBron and AD, if you think he is a starter next to those 2 guys, because those 2 guys are a lot toward a championship already, that's a really nice move. It's a nice piece to put in place. If you start him alongside of AD and LeBron in your front court, is he starting caliber on a championship team, depending on what you put in the backcourt, of course, but do you think he can lock that down?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're playing with LeBron and AD, you have a chance to be, a championship team, first off. And I think Rui Hachimura, his pieces are compatible with the way LeBron and AD play. Off pick and pop. He's a guy that can pop, right? So think about how LeBron
Not lights
James.
out, but he can shoot it.
Yeah, he can shoot. Catch and shoot.
Right.
Catch and shoot is different than doing things off the dribble. So think about all the teams where LeBron James has won championships. He's had pieces around him that have been able to stretch the floor that allow him to have space. That's why a lot of people were wondering why the move for Russell Westbrook, because their games are extremely similar and you can shrink the floor. But now adding a guy like Rui, and if you're able to find something else for low cost, or maybe this offseason coming up, 3-and-D space out kind of guys, those are pieces
and
you can win a championship
maybe one
with.
guy who can take you off the dribble and get you a bucket when you need it in the fourth quarter type guy, right? And then the Lakers have something.
Or you go after a guy like Bogdanovich. I know Alan Yates and I talk about that a ton. You hear about guys like Fred VanVleet in that situation with Toronto, and some of the, they don't really know what is the direction of their future, their franchise. There are pieces out there now you can put together.
Yeah, well, especially once the books are kind of clean, there'll be options for the Lakers in the summer to take a look at some of these guys, no question about it. But when you ask the question, Max, could he be a part of LeBron and AD? He may be the 4th guy instead of the 3rd guy. He may be the 5th guy instead of the 4th guy, but he's certainly part of the starting five, and he has major upside.
Anyone who can give you 30 minutes of real starting minutes next to LeBron and AD
20,
in a lineup
25
is a good pickup for the Lakers
25.
right at this point. But I mean,
I'm telling you though,
down the road.
a piece that low key is out there. I said his name, Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, VanVleet would be great
because Fred can play off of LeBron and AD because he can be a floor spacer, and then also he can relieve. Like, don't forget how important Rondo was to that team when they won a chip in the bubble.
Right now, give him a better shot.
Give a break. I got ball handling responsibilities. I can create off the dribble. LeBron play off me a little bit. The ball doesn't have to be in Bron's hands all the time.
Jay, we're talking basketball, and therefore, of course, the way the sports gods work. There is breaking news! Dun, dun, dun. According to Adam Schefter, not Woj, Adam Schefter.
Up, and I don't know what he's been assured of, but there's definitely talk in the league like there could be another hire above him. So it's a little bit off there, but that said, they've got a lot of talent, and they've got a franchise player in Trae Young. But, you know, it's obviously not been the type of step forward that they thought they'd have after they made the conference finals 2 years ago.
Wendy, you've been covering this game for a very long time. You've seen records go up, records being taken down. And the other day, I said that LeBron James, who's chasing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record, I said that LeBron James, to L.A. Laker hardcore fans, is basically a lease and a rental for us, even though he brought us a championship, that most of his damage in the scoring department was done for other teams. It will not be celebrated when he breaks Kareem's record nearly the same as when Kareem set the record, so to speak. Am I far off, or am I wrong for that?
I actually saw everything that you said, and I thought it was an interesting way to explain it, that it's a lease as opposed to an own. I think that's you know, and by the way, Key, like the way you articulate the way people see LeBron, it has authenticity to me because you're an LA guy. And, you know, I think that is a prevailing theory. Now, first off, this is a fifth year LeBron's played for the Lakers, and he's playing next year there for sure. So it's going to be 6 years. That's longer than he played for the Heat. That's longer than he played for the second stint for the Cavs. This is now his second longest stint with the team since the first time he was with Cleveland, where he was pretty much locked in there for 7 years. He might end up playing more for the Lakers in one stint than he did for any other team. That's number one. But you're right. I don't think you're wrong in the way you're saying that. The second thing is, what LeBron is doing this year is not getting the proper attention. He has morphed his game yet again in year 20. When he came to the Lakers, like, he didn't really want to be the point guard, so they signed a bunch of point guards. They all failed. And so the second year there, he played point guard and led him to a title. And now he's playing a completely different position, and so his three-point shot is off, right? He's having his worst three-point shooting season since he was a rookie. So what is he doing? He's taking less three-point shots, and he is taking more shots in the in-between zone, 3 to 10 feet, than at any time in his career. I'm telling you, he's taken a fifth of his shots in that in-between zone. He's never taken that many there, ever. And he's totally playing offense differently this year than he has in years past. And look, they're not having a great year, but he is making the best of it. And, you know, plenty of people can take shots at him and say he's not the same player that he was before. Of course, that's true. That whatever role he had in the Westbrook trade has hurt the franchise. Of course, the Westbrook trade was a disaster, but he is still maximizing this season for himself and probably for the Lakers.
Wendy, I want to get to the Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah,
because this was related to that.
So, Wendy, talking about Westbrook, I talk to a lot of people daily who are in interesting positions in our field. You know a lot of the same people, and one of the things I heard kind of thrown out there is, why wouldn't the Lakers, considering what's happening in Toronto, with them making decisions around pieces, why wouldn't the Lakers offer a Russell Westbrook and their 2 picks for the likes of that of like a Scotty Barnes and a Fred VanVleet, or even if you want to throw in Pascal Siakam, however you make that work? Obviously, they'll love Scotty Barnes, but why isn't something like out there like that floating around?
Well, Jay, I would say that the Raptors are the number one most watched team in the league right now in terms of what's going to happen at the deadline, because they actually have a worse record than the Lakers. and with much, in my opinion, with a much better roster and much higher expectations. That was a team that finished, I think, 5th in the East last year. And, we were expecting Scotty Barnes to take a giant step forward. He's kind of flatlined. They've had some injuries for sure, but they've been a big disappointment. And, what happens between now, and they're also not playing well together. I mean, Nick Nurse has come out and said that they don't have great spirit. I don't know if I'm quoting him exactly accurately, but they're not playing with great focus and spirit. And they lost again last night. And if there's a team that could make a surprise move, it could be the Raptors. Now, I don't know if the Lakers can win, a bidding war if the Raptors start to sell off a piece or two. Now, they are not trading Scott Barnes. Scotty Barnes is their core player for the future. Fred VanVleet has not agreed to a contract extension and has talked about it and wants to go into free agency. He has a player option for next season, which he could pick up, but he has kind of indicated the league is going to free agency. That is a player I definitely think teams are watching. I just don't know if the Lakers are willing to go all in for a player like that then they then have to re-sign. So it's definitely you've identified what people in the league are talking about.
Brian Windhorst, ladies and gentlemen, ESPN NBA insider.